What's up, you guys? Welcome back to our channel. We're the Travel Vibe Chasers, and today for you, we're bringing you our top 5 things we experienced on a Cuba cruise. We had so much fun, and we're also going to be bringing to you why we think it's so important to go on a solo trip without your kids.
Yes, it's so important for us, at least, to take a trip. I mean, we have our 4 little ones, so getting away from the kids is a huge priority, top priority. Yes. I must say, with this trip, Mama Bear definitely pushed the trip for us to get out and go alone. And let me tell you, this trip was caliente.
Oh my gosh.
Super spicy, romantic. It was so fun.
If you guys enjoy this kind of video, definitely consider subscribing and joining the fam. Hit that little bell so you get the post notifications. We're going to list everything we can find for you guys down below. It's always down there. So if you have any questions, they're usually in the down bar. And question of the day is...
Question of the day is, do you take couples vacations? Is that important to you guys, and why?
So if you guys want to see what our top 5 experiences we had on our Cuba cruise and why we think it's so important to travel solo without your kids, then just keep watching.
Just keep watching.
First off, we want to start the video off by saying why we think it's so important, right? Should we do that first?
Yeah, no, big time.
Okay.
Yes.
Why we think it's so important to go on a solo trip without your kids. I have a whole video on this, you guys, dedicated in my video, but we wanted to give you guys a couple's perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And she actually killed that video. I love the love fern part too. That's huge, about just making sure you water your love fern and keep it lit. So early in our marriage, we did a couple courses, read a few books. Love and Respect was definitely one of them, and
Love
Your Languages and Laugh Your Way to a Better Marriage, which I highly recommend. Those are awesome. Just things
I'll link those for you guys down below so you guys can check them out. Like, we definitely recommend them, and they will enrich your marriage. I promise you they will.
And I think just the romance aspect, and not forgetting, I think the main thing is not forgetting the first child, and the first child is your relationship. So getting on those vacations, keeping it spicy, leaving mom at home and taking your super fine girlfriend out on a date is very important. And just not forgetting who you are. And
also in our household, you know, the way we believe is God is first, then it's the marriage, the husband and the wife, and then it's your children.
And the kids.
I'm not telling you how to raise your kids or what to do it, but that's just how our household works. We believe that after the kids go off and leave, you're still going to have mom and dad left. So it's so important to keep depositing things into your marriage that will keep you going for a lifetime, basically.
Yeah, and it's just a big difference, I think, is getting out and like dancing, having drinks, getting dressed up. Big tip to all the husbands out there.
Acting a fool.
Acting a fool. We definitely act a fool, but I always tell... I met this older gentleman that gave me this one tip. He said, listen, if you're on a vacation with your wife and you're going on a trip, let her get ready on her own, right? Get out. So when she walks down into the lobby wearing a crazy, beautiful dress that you haven't seen with those high heels on, and Lorna, like, she likes to take her time with no kids, and she could take her time. She likes to practice her twerking in the mirror and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, stop.
You know what I mean? So I just let her take her time. I go sit down, have a drink, and it's nothing better than watching your beautiful queen walk through the lobby, break a bunch of necks, at least my little sweetheart, and knowing that she's with you. So I love that. I love the aspect of being out on that trip, keeping it romantic and keeping it awesome. So if you do want to learn about the tips on, you know, how to leave your kids or get out, watch her video. She covered all of that. But for us, I think just why is it most important to you personally? As far as
I think it's most important to me. Well, I mean, first of all, I'm the one who talked him into doing this trip. Okay. I feel like it's funny because, like, I definitely like following the rules. I'm like, you know, more strict when it comes to stuff like that. He's like a rule breaker, but in some weird aspect, I'm the risk taker.
Yeah, big time.
I really am. It's so weird.
When it comes to like risky, like let's move into an RV.
Like,
let's leave in a month to go to Cuba.
Or
that's crazy stuff.
Move across the state. Like, I'm the risk taker, but I think it's a beautiful balance because I have a partner that actually is willing to do my crazy ideas. So you have to find somebody that's willing to do it. It may take a little bit of work for me and convincing, but I finally convinced him that we needed to go on this cruise. And you know, it is nerve-wracking, you guys, leaving your kids behind, and
finding the babysitter.
We've come to the realization that as long as they're alive, then it's okay.
When we get back. Injury, that's okay. Bumps and bruises, maybe a couple stitches.
It's gonna happen,
you know,
like
whatever
they could
it
get
happens.
sick
Yes.
or whatever happens, as long as they're alive, that is all that we ask. And I know that sounds really crazy.
No, it's huge.
But you have to have that mindset in order to be able to go, because we know so many parents that are like, I'll never. And that's okay. Like, you have to feel comfortable because you'll have a miserable trip. That's a good story time. I had a horrible time our first time leaving
vacation.
our oldest kid, and I ruined the trip. I did. You know what I mean? Which is weird now because I'm the one who's like, let's go.
The real truth about that, she got super drunk the first night and was hungover the next day, but we'll leave that.
Yeah, no, that's not why I hate it. I got drunk because I missed my baby.
She couldn't take it. She's like, yeah, my baby.
I was like, oh my gosh. She was like 11 months old, my first baby. I was like, oh, that's a hot mess. But anyways, what I'm saying is you have to come up with these concepts in your mind to believe, you know, as a part of your belief system so you can leave your kids. And when you come back, you guys, I promise you, you're going to be a better parent.
Oh man,
you're going to be more in love, right?
And the kids kind of see that. Like, our kids definitely see that.
Oh, they don't care anymore.
You know what? Oh, I forgot too. That's one of the big things that we learned in the advice thing is like codependency for your children. There's nothing better than your kids seeing that you're still in love. You know, like explaining to your kids, like, hey, like, we love each other. Mom and dad need to go get romantic. Like, we need our
time. We tell that to our kids all the time. Like, sometimes, you know, they're very clingy. We homeschool. We're their best friends, like, literally. And I love that about homeschooling. You know, I was homeschooling before all of this. So we're everything to them. But they also know when we're getting uptight, we're getting grouchy, we're like, hey, kids, mom and dad need some space alone. Because sometimes it's hard for them to understand, like, we want to be together without them, because it's like when we're together they get alone time, right? Like I can be alone or dad could be alone, but they don't get we want to be together alone. It's a different concept for them to grasp. But you have to teach that to your kids. You have to train them and educate them on why it's important, what the vibe is, and how they want a good vibe continuing after mom and dad get the alone time.
And also too, I think building standards for them in their marriages. So like, I got daughters, so when they choose a husband, I want them to choose a husband that, like, my dad always went and got romantic with my mom. My dad would dance with my mom. My dad, like, didn't mind a pink room. You know what I mean? He jumped in I added my pink matching shirt here today to fit the background here because
Is it pink?
It's got some pink in it.
Oh, this one. Oh, yeah,
it's got some pink. But I want my daughters to know, like, it was important for my dad to go get romantic with my mom. It was important. And then on top of that too, for my sons, like, I want my sons to be, you know, men and enjoy their sports, enjoy their activities. But I also want them to make it a priority, like, date your wife. Go out and have fun with your wife, because what's the point of being in a marriage that you can't go be with your best friend? And when Lorna is not momming, let me tell you, like, she has a ratchet playlist.
What?
Like, super ratchet playlist. She loves to dance, and she is like, man, she is, I mean, I just like to say you're like a blast in the glass, if you know what I'm like.
Okay,
you know
what
really? I mean? Like, she's the funnest.
That's going too far.
I know, but I'm just saying though, but we are best friends.
Yeah, no, we seriously get along so good. We have so much fun. And I feel like you have to remember why you're together. And I know that sounds kind of harsh, but like even being in quarantine, you're just going every single day. It's like Groundhog's Day. You're going and going and going. And it's not that you don't love the person, because I feel like different parts to love. But the part where you fell in love and you have that chemical or that attraction, you know what I mean, sometimes dwindles away a little bit as you keep going through all the day-to-day tasks. So when you go on this trip or when you're without your kids, it just rekindles all of that. And you're like, oh, like you look at them in a different light. Not dad. I'm like staring at Nick like, oh, he's such a good dad and I love him because he's like our nurturer for our home and he's a provider. But it's like, oh, he's hot. Like, oh, I like what you're wearing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a different vibe. You know what I mean? And that's what you want to bring to your relationship. That's why it's another reason why it's so important. Just know you will never regret going on a trip without your kids. Like, you're not going to go on a trip with your husband and then come up like, I wish I would have never did that.
There will be moments though when you see little kids and you're like, oh, but you know what though, man, it makes you miss the kids. Like, it's good missing your kids for sure.
But too, I feel like we could totally go deeper into this. I feel like my video does a little bit.
It does.
But it's like a muscle. Like when you're out and you start missing your kids, you have to literally change your thoughts.
Yes. Or take a shot. One of the two. You know.
Whatever works.
Whatever
for you.
flows for you. You know. So hey, I hope you guys love those tips, and let's get into our trip.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're gonna start getting into our top 5 things we went on a cruise.
Yes.
Okay. So I go searching on cruises or whatever, and I just start getting an itch, okay, for just random things.
So she started getting on a kick of going to places that are exotic or something that like not a lot of people have done.
That we've never done before.
We've never done.
You know what I mean? Because like we've gone to Hawaii a bunch of times.
Done Mexico, New York.
I mean, and we still enjoy it. We'll still keep going back to Hawaii, but I really wanted to go to somewhere new. And I was thinking Japan. I was thinking, obviously this was before all of this stuff was going on. And then I found a Cuba cruise, and I was like, I've always wanted to go to Cuba. And so I researched the heck out of it. You guys know what I do. I have a TripAdvisor and an Expedia that I always do reviews and stuff like that. I'll link that down below for you guys if you want to check it out. But I find the best deals, and we found a great deal for us to go to Cuba. And I told Nick, I'm like, hey, I want to go to Cuba. He's like, dude, there's no way.
Yes.
His first initial thing, he's like, how? There's no way. We don't have time.
Into Cuba. I didn't, you know, people say you can't get into Cuba, but they did open up the cruises. So we started off in Miami.
How come you breezed through that one?
What do you mean?
I just feel like you just don't want anybody to know that you don't want to do it at first.
Okay, fine. I didn't want to do it.
Okay,
I didn't want to. First off, I didn't want to leave.
I think this is relatable.
It is.
They need to know this because you're like, okay. Anyways, subject change.
All right, I'm a workaholic. Let's just give you everything. I'm a workaholic.
This is what I was trying to get out, you guys.
I have more of a hard time like requesting the time off or leaving because I'm a workaholic. You know what I mean? So I do like to get out there and grind away. And it is a part of providing for the family and getting out there.
And he's so good at what he does. He really enjoys it. So
yeah, I do.
You know.
It's very competitive.
But I literally have to drag him, beg him to be able to go on vacation, which I know you guys can totally relate. But just keep working on him, girls, because once you get there, like time of his life.
Once I'm on the trip, I'm like, woo!
Why
you know what I mean? Like, why did I do this?
Or he starts thinking like, this was such a great idea I had.
Yes, yeah,
like,
no,
seriously.
That's my favorite thing to do to her. I'm like, dude, aren't you glad that I pushed us to go? And it literally,
so
even though she knows I'm playing, she literally loses.
Can't.
So we've done 3 Disney cruises, full balconies, 2-bedroom suites. Like we've done it like all the way.
Yes.
We went inside stateroom, cabin, no window. We didn't even care. Because me and my wife were like, if we want to go out, so we'll hit the deck and it's no kids. So literally.
And we're going to be
room
out
to
having
like
drinks
change,
and stuff,
go have a good
to
time and run around. And we planned on dancing the night away. So it was pretty fun.
We did.
Yes, and we definitely did.
Dude,
she got all done.
Cruises are lit, you guys.
Yes.
Like right when you walk on, everybody's drinking, everybody's got their game face on for vacation.
Yep, they're handing margaritas
the music's
out.
going. There's just like so much fun activities, and just the vibe on the deck is it's priceless.
Yes.
It's so much fun. Like I'm actually feel like I'm taking myself back there as I'm describing
it. I know, you did just get super excited, super happy right now.
Yeah, like it was just.
The cruise was cool, man.
So amazing. All you can eat food.
I love your outfit changes too. Like you were just killing it. Yeah, she planned the fits to the T, you know. And on top of that too, I'm like full photographer on the trip, so I'm like snapping pictures of her and having a good time. It's fun. Yeah, so we hit the cruise.
I did some of my best pictures there.
You did. You really did.
On my feed, we'll insert some of the pictures, like the pictures with the cars and all that. Like some of them are my literally best pictures ever. Our first favorite experience was renting a classic car in Cuba. Okay, you guys, so I'm in a pink car right now. I'm so excited. Look at this, it's so cool. We are in Havana. We are getting ready to go on a tour. We paid for 3 hours, so we're gonna see all of Havana and we're gonna take you guys around with us. So are you ready? Let's go. A long video, you guys, how to get off the boat and all that. If you guys want more detailed videos,
if you want anything
let
like
us
that,
know, because we can elaborate on things, because there's a lot of details that go into
But when they talk about like the classic cars in Cuba, man, that is a real thing. And let me tell you, if you guys go look at pictures online of Cuba, it does it no justice. I wasn't like too excited looking online or looking at YouTube videos about Cuba. It was like, I don't know about this. Like it looks kind of like, I want to say grimy in the pictures, but when you're there, the griminess kind of turns into art. Like these buildings are so old, they're drop dead gorgeous.
Our first thing was renting a classic car and getting a tour. So if there's one thing that we suggest that you do, it's definitely doing this. And Nick was sweet enough to let me pick out a pink one. So that's what we did when we got off the boat.
I already knew we were getting that pink car. Before we even got there, I was like, look at my room here, okay? I knew we had to get a pink car.
And everybody's always asked us, they're like, oh my God, are you single? How does your husband? I was like, dude, he likes pink, okay? Anyways, I was so excited to be able to rent a pink car. Nick, luckily, was so down for it, just like he's down for this pink room. I'm like, real men can accept pink, okay?
Yes, you can. And honestly, I mean, look at it. It looks fabulous. She does her decorations, like, and it just makes her happy. So, happy wife, happy life, fellas. Get that one locked in. You know what I mean? No
Don't
problem.
forget that.
Yes.
Once we got in the car, we had a tour guide, and it was so cool because he spoke really good English.
Yes.
Here to drink. That was our golden age for the Cuban cutlery. You know, they made the daiquiri.
So cruising around Cuba, like, I mean, seeing all the buildings, watching the live music outside, how
what there
green,
was,
beautiful.
What I want to say about that is, because he was saying, like, at first, like, the pictures look dirty and, like, you know, you just kind of prejudge. But once you get there, you just learn that there's so much charm and character. Those are the two words I could add that describe all of Cuba. Charm and character. Yeah. All of the old buildings and just like the vibe of the people. It just, everybody was out and about, and it was just such a good energy, you know what I mean? And just traveling around, driving and seeing all of those things, I just felt so blessed and lucky to be able to experience that.
Yeah, and the car ride, like, they'll cruise you all around. You can see all the beautiful beaches. You go through these green, lush areas that are just draping with these crazy, like, beautiful green trees. And these trees are like 600 years old. And we got to get out, go check out some of the stuff, and like the art on the walls, and even the graffiti was kind of crazy. There's a bunch of stuff that we could, I'm sure I'm putting a bunch of this footage up here for you guys. So it was just an experience. So I definitely, one of the top 5s is rent the car, get in that classic car, take your time, cruise, and you can actually find the car when you're there. That's a big tip that I want to give you guys. You can find the car when you're there. It's not anything you need to pre-book in advance.
You can just walk right out and find people.
Okay, so number 2, Cuban cigar. Thank you so much for that too, because like,
it's a man thing. You gotta let him do it.
Okay, you guys, we just got to the cigar factory. I'm so excited, but I just want to tell you, first view, everything is so beautiful here. The architecture, everything. I watch YouTube and I did not get the vibe that I'm getting right now. I'm so excited to get out and start exploring, and I'm going to take you guys along with me so you can see the whole city. Are you ready? Let's go.
Honestly though, you were hega pumped. You wanted to go to like the cigar field, the cigar factory.
I do. If that's one thing I could do next time, is for sure visit the Cuban cigar fields. Yeah. That was one thing we didn't get to do, but we only had 2 short days there, so.
But we went to like the Cuban cigar factory.
Our driver took us to the legit place.
To the legit spot. Got some crazy Cubans, Monte Cristos, and man, like.
He brought a bunch back with him, which
I think that's
amazing.
awesome for like a husband. If you got out there, I'm not like a cigar smoker, like I smoke cigars all the time, but at the end of the day, getting a Cuban cigar is definitely a highlight. It's amazing. You have to get a Cuban cigar, taste the different cigars. Everyone's in there kind of bartering, and you have all of these crazy humidors,
kind of crazy.
all these different exotic cigars, and and that's like a part of the culture.
I feel like the last part though to this Cuban cigar thing is we got to smoke a Cuban cigar in a lounge. We have some epic pictures of Nick and I.
Yes.
We'll show you guys because that's a part of our number 5, but it's tied to the Cuban cigar.
Yeah, get in there, get in one of them cigar lounges, hang out with the Cubans. Like, they love to chat and talk, and it was just so cool smoking cigars. Number 2.
Number 3 is, do we even know the name of this place?
No,
it's probably
I got the footage. Yeah.
Okay, so number 3, we'll put the name of the restaurant here. But
So here we are heading for lunch, to have lunch in a Cuban paladar, when you can taste the real Cuban food. You know, the flavors, all the ropa vieja that you like, you know, the pork, everything, the yuca, fried potatoes, everything. So you're gonna love it. At the end, you make another video and you tell me if you like the food.
Yes.
All right.
it was just this outdoor patio. It was a local place that people go to for food, and it was so much fun just to see the live music, be outside. There was like chickens running around.
You pull up in a neighborhood.
Yeah, it was like, kind of crazy.
Yeah, when you get there, you think you're just going to a house, but then when you go through the backyard, it turns into this like
murdered.
Yeah, one of the two. Yeah, robbed or murdered or something like that. But I didn't really feel like that at all.
I mean, it does cross your mind.
They have a TripAdvisor sign in the front though. They do. And you get in the back, and it's a. I think that's where I caught a vibe.
Okay, you guys. So I have been on the most amazing tour ever of the city. We were in the streets. I mean, literally, we went everywhere you could possibly think of. We went to the forest. I mean, it has been the most amazing, beautiful trip ever. I wanted to say this on video that all the pictures and video that I saw, it does not even do it justice. It's a vibe. It's like when I went to New York, there was this energy, this synergy that it had, and this place has it too. and it is by far one of the most amazing trips I've ever been on, and I've only been here a day. I would for sure come back here again. I absolutely loved it. So I'm gonna show you guys what we're gonna have. I'm super excited. Check out this place though. Okay, you guys, so this is plantains stuffed with cheese and ham. I've never tried anything like this before, so I'm super excited to try it. Hi. Oh wow, does not taste like a banana. It tastes like a potato.
Chickens are running around and they serve us our dishes. You can actually smoke your cigar in there, drink a Cuban beer. I mean, this place was phenomenal.
It was fun. We
it was
definitely
huge.
caught the vibe.
And I think if
sure.
you even tell like your driver or whatnot, be like, take us to the restaurant. Like, it was so many classic cars out there. That's the spot. And anybody that we've talked to that's been out there in Cuba, like, oh, we went to that restaurant. Like, they'll all know the restaurant. So we'll put that image up there for you guys too as well.
And the next most favorite experience where we caught the vibe is number 4 would be in the car. We drove to this place where they had this giant statue.
Okay, you guys, we're at the top of Casablanca. I think that's what it's called. But I just wanted to show you this amazing view we came up to see. And check this out, you guys.
But we always say when you go on vacation, the best thing is getting the vibe of the places that you're at. And I definitely feel like this statue like exuded Cuba. Because you get up there, there's this giant statue, and then you look out and you can see everything.
All of Cuba.
It's absolutely gorgeous, you guys, and it's definitely one of the places to catch the vibe, as well as around town. I feel like we caught the vibe. I mean,
there you could see all of Cuba from the statue of Jesus.
Is it Jesus?
It's Jesus. It's a statue of Jesus. You have a picture of you kissing Jesus. You're like,
okay. So, anyways, but yeah, that statue and looking out was definitely one of our top experiences when we went to Cuba.
yes. All right, number 5. So we did our date night there. So we went back, had a few drinks during lunch, and we went back to the cruise ship, took a nap. Lorna got all dressed up, and our driver came back to pick us up, and we did our
made good
date
friends
night.
with him, I feel
yes, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So we did our date night. And our date night, we chose to go and experience Cuban culture at its finest.
It was like live music. You get a dinner included.
Yes, it was great.
And they had, you guys, I want to like remake this with you guys, but they had this amazing mojito, but it was made with honey. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Like the best thing ever.
Yes. So good. So we were in there, we were chilling. That's when we went to the Cigar Lounge, and the Cigar Lounge was just, man, it was cool. This guy comes out, he's got like
so cool.
ash, like I guess over the cigar experts, they put like ash over their one eye. And we were lighting our cigars up and sitting in the Cigar Lounge.
Taking pictures.
I think that's one of my
it was your
favorite
epic pick for sure.
No, I think the epic pick of you in there. She had this dress on, legs all looking caramely. I'm gonna have to insert that picture in here because she was looking
I'm sure
super
we'll be using
sexy.
that as a thumbnail.
And watching her smoke the cigar too was, I did feel like I had my little President Clinton moment, you know what I mean, going on.
Oh my god. It was
So,
so much fun.
It was fun, yeah. And then the music was just, oh man, the music was flawless. They were out there, had a whole drum session. The drum session was just crazy, the way they played the drums. It was just awesome. Such a cool thing.
So good, you guys. We had the most amazing trip ever, and I just, even now being in quarantine, we have all of those beautiful memories to look back on, and I'm just so grateful we got to do that, and I'm definitely looking forward to more solo trips in the future.
Yes. So that was our Cuba trip. We did go to Atlantis too as well. We wish we would have had more time to spend at Atlantis.
But I'm glad we got to see it though. So then
did.
now, like, we know that's definitely a place we'd probably go back with the kids. They had so many like water slides, and like it was huge and crazy, like nothing I've ever seen before. It was
crazy
insane.
shops inside and walking around and enjoying that. The island was cool. I think the craziest though, I will throw this though. We had this thing called a scotch. Was it scotch? Conch. Oh my God. This conch dish. The way
like,
they made it fresh, it was
what do you
crazy.
think? It's like ceviche on crack.
Yes, ceviche.
It's so good.
Crazy fruit and vegetables. It was just so
mine
good.
didn't have fruit. I didn't get the fruit in
Yeah,
mine.
I got mine with the fruit. I love mango though. I'm a mango
I can't
guy.
do like fruit inside my ceviche or different things. Like I just can't mix
Mango.
But
So delicious.
it was so good, you guys.
Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the trip with us. I hope you had a good time with it. And get out there and get romantic, man.
Yes.
Seriously.
All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed our top 5 experiences we had on our Cuba cruise, our solo trip without the kids. And I hope you guys enjoyed our little couples advice on why we think it's so important to do that without your children. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, leave us a
like a Caribbean rum punch emoji or any type of tropical drink emoji that you can find.
That's hilarious. Do they
Right?
have that?
I'm sure they do. They got some
pineapple,
type of a pineapple,
something.
whatever you find, some cool little emoji.
And if you haven't done so already, definitely consider subscribing and hitting that little bell. Like we said, we're going to leave everything down below. We truly appreciate you guys. When you watch our video all the way through, it really benefits our channel. So thank you so much. And until next time.
Until next time, keep chasing the vibe.